Hi, folks. This is Daryle Singletary, and you're listening to Radio Random Network.
My guest today is known for being a man that stays true to his roots. Here to talk about his brand new CD, There's Still a Little Country Left, the one and only Mr. Daryle Singletary. Daryle, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Russell?
As like I said before we hit that the go button, we're getting it done today. So, well, I guess we'll get it all started, man. Give us a little quick insight on how your career in country music started.
You know, I moved here in 1990, and I grew up singing gospel music, but was a big traditional country music fan, and I just always wanted to sing country music. I love traditional country music, and graduated high school in June of 1990, and loaded up my stuff and moved to Nashville in October of 1990 and started doing, what I thought everybody did, was started singing around the clubs and getting up in open mic nights and, every chance I get to get out in front of, somebody, because, back then you'd hear, man, you never know who might be in the crowd. So
Right.
I'd sit in a bar from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning to get up and do 2 songs, that kind of stuff. And it worked out perfect. We were approached by a few people to do some demos and kind of get my voice out there on tape, and just messed around and got a management deal with Elizabeth Travis, Randy Travis's wife, and I demoed a song called An Old Pair of Shoes that Randy cut on a Greatest Hits record, and they wanted to know who was singing on it, so we signed management with them back in 1992 and went to working hard on getting a record deal. And I demoed, in the meantime, I demoed another song for a guy named Tim Johnson called I Let Her Lie. And James Stroud was running Giant Records at the time, and that song was written for Giant Publishing, and he heard the demo and wanted to know who was singing on the demo, and it just kind of started and went from there, man. And we've been very fortunate and feel very blessed to, after 20 years, to still be making a living playing country music.
Yes, indeed. Now, you were talking a while ago, you are a traditionalist. Can you give us a little insight on who are some of your influences in the country music genre growing up?
Well, I moved here, man. In my generation, I guess Keith Whitley and Randy Travis was probably two of my biggest influences. My favorite singer of all time is George Jones. I think George Jones could take a song and just, even, he did a record where he went back and did hits that he missed, where he did Too Cold at Home and Here in the Real World, stuff that had been hits for other acts.
Yes,
and the guy just could take a song and just tear it apart, and just wear it out. And I guess probably, George Jones is a huge influence, my favorite singer, like I say, of all times. And then, Vern Gosdin, Merle Haggard, Johnny Paycheck, just the great traditional singers. I kind of, when I moved to Nashville, everybody's like, you got to get your own style, you got to do this. Well, I kind of took my favorite artists that I moved here trying to sing like, and I would say I threw them in a hat and came out with a style. I hear all the time, a lot of times, which is very flattering, how, I'm compared a lot to Keith Whitley. Yes. And that's a compliment in itself, and I'm very flattered by that. I heard an interview one time that Keith was compared to Lefty Frizzell, and he said it's inevitable in this business you're going to be compared to somebody, and who better to be compared to for me than Keith Whitley, being such a big fan. So I love those great singers.
Yes, indeed. And you talking about that. Those guys was beyond, I guess, being singers or recording artists. They were stylists,
Yeah.
And like you was talking about George and Vern, especially Vern Gosdin and George Jones. They could, like you said, they could tear a song apart. And it's the same thing with you. There's not a lot these days. You don't hear that a lot. There's not too many stylists out there anymore.
Well, I think, and I think what makes the difference is just the fact that, I don't know what I can't put my finger on what makes a stylist other than just for the artist that's being, named or described as a stylist. I think it's just what we do. I mean, we don't think twice about how we sing. We don't think twice about how it's kind of like eating or walking. We just get up there and do it. And the good Lord's blessed us with a talent to be able to take a song and I guess portray it, like we've lived it. And I think that's what makes a stylist, is you just, and by no means is this a boastful statement because I'm saying it about the guys that I grew up listening to, but I mean, you just do it. I mean, you don't think nothing about it. You either got it or you don't. And it's not something I think that can be taught. I don't think it's something that can be, you just either you got it or you don't have it. So I've been blessed. And like I say, the good Lord, I've given me a talent to sing, traditional country music and music from the heart. And like I say, I just do it. I don't think nothing about it. And it just comes off as being a stylist or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if there's a way to, write a definition for it or how to instruct a manual to how to do it. You just either got it or you don't, I guess.
Yes, indeed. I can agree with you on all of that, my friend. And with all of that said, let's talk a little bit about your brand new CD. It's on pre-sale now on iTunes, I think, but there's still a little country left. Give us a little insight on why did you decide to do this album?
Well, we hadn't had a record out since '09. The last thing we had out was on Koch Records, and it was Rockin' in the Country. And we'd kind of sit back, and like I said, I've been in this business 20 years now, and touring on the road and making records, and we've done it every way you can. I spent 3 years on a major label in the beginning of my career. I did 4 or 5 records on an independent label, and we were just thinking, let's do something on our own. Let's just go out and cut a record that we can pay for, and we can do it like we want to, and we can take as much time to put it together as we want to. So that's kind of what we did. We went out and started looking for songs. I started writing some things and kind of putting together a record that just is the epitome of what I've done for the last 20 years. I mean, I like I say, I love traditional country music, and we've just we went out and started looking for songs that kind of I guess there's songs on there that's biographical. When I wrote a song, my twin boys are 4 years old now. They were born in October 2010, and we started working on this thing then, and I wrote a song called Things Are So Much Different, and it's biographical of my life at the time. And, we started, getting songs pitched to us, and then doing some writing sessions, of some guys that, there's the title track, there's still a little country left. I was in a writing session, with, one of the guys that wrote, was a co-writer on that song, and we were totally writing, and he was he told me, I got a song that you need to hear. And he sent it to me, and there's still a country left. And I'm like, man, what a song. It just says it all of, what I've been trying to do and what I've always done. And not that, not to get off of the subject, but that I have a problem with what's going on at radio or in this business. I mean, I applaud anybody that can be successful in this industry, but I just thought that song says, hey, even though that's going on and that's popular, there's still some country out here, and all the elements that go into being country. And then the list goes on and on with the songs that are on the new record.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, you're right about that. There are still some real country music fans out there, and I'm sure they're applauding you right now for bringing all this stuff back up. And with all of that said, Mr. Daryle, I know you got a busy day ahead of you. I don't want to keep you too much longer. So real quick, I asked this of all the guests on the show, is there any advice that you can share with any inspiring singer-songwriters or musicians out there that maybe want to follow in your footsteps?
Now, you know what? This has been, and I say stock answer to that question for the last 20 years. Like as I said earlier in the interview, I moved here in 1990, and I got out and played in every chance I could get to get in front of somebody. This is not an easy thing to do, and you appreciate it more when you actually work for it and you actually do some things, you know. And unfortunately nowadays they've quit smoking in a lot of bars, so
right.
You can't really have cigarette smoke blowed in your face. But we did a lot of that in the early days, and would play 5 hours a night and have cigarette smoke blowed in your face from an old whiskey drinking drunk, you know. But that's the fun part of it. But my biggest thing in this business is persistence, man. I learned from my daddy. If you want something, just be persistent, and anyone that has a dream to be in this business, I'm a living proof that dreams do come true. And but it's something you got to work hard at and be persistent at, and you can be blessed.
Yes, indeed. For more information on Daryle Singletary, you can go to www.darylesingletary.net. You can also pre-order the There's Still a Little Country Left. It's available now for pre-order on iTunes and other major streaming networks. With all of that said, Mr. Daryle, it was an honor and a pleasure for you joining me here today, my friend. Thank you so much, Mr. Daryle, and
yes,
we
sir.
wish you all
Thank
the
you,
luck
Russ.
in the world, man. And
okay, buddy, I appreciate you.
yes, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, buddy.